What's up, you guys? It's Steve here with a new major warning that's being issued out to Americans across the nation. This is not necessarily what we want to hear, but I'm going to share with you the latest, and this could also be an additional contributing factor to the push for more stimulus and more stimulus checks. They might be needed with what we're hearing is coming on the way, you guys. This is your breaking news, stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, first off, take a look at these articles coming out in just the past 2 days. U.S. warned to get ready as Europe deals with a new pandemic rise. And what we've seen throughout the course of this pandemic is that whenever Europe experiences something, usually it's about 3 to 6 months later, we begin seeing the same exact thing starting to happen in the United States. And they are now saying the cases are going up. And take a look, you guys. Dr. Fauci says that the fast-spreading pandemic variant BQ.1 and BQ.1.1 are pretty troublesome. Now, I'm going to give you all the details, but take a look at this. This is the United States pandemic cases and deaths across the nation throughout the course of this pandemic, and you can see that we are on the decline. Things seem to be improving. They've been getting better, but they're saying prepare yourselves. Over the next couple of weeks, we might just start seeing an increase in cases again with a new variant and a new spread. And like I said, right now, we're getting ready for midterms. We're in the middle of inflation. The Federal Reserve is going to be increasing interest rates. We're hearing a recession is 100% on the way, likely going to be hitting right now if it hasn't already, or in 2023. And we're also dealing with a war with Russia and Ukraine, supply chain issues, China still in lockdowns, an assortment of different things, you guys. And now a new variant is going to be hitting. And they're saying our economy is going to be feeling the pains of this. So a lot of people are saying it's time to dish out more stimulus provisions, more stimulus checks. Now, I've let you know here on the channel about student loan debt forgiveness. That executive order has taken place. It officially has launched on the website. It is currently being challenged. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you up to date on that. In addition, those on fixed incomes, Social Security increases of $200 per month. That legislation has been brought back to the table. We're hearing it'll likely carry out past midterm elections. Also, the COLA increase has been announced. There's still emergency SNAP benefits that are likely going to carry out into 2023. And also, people are still waiting to hear about child tax credits, which we've heard are going to happen after midterms as well. And stimulus checks, the fourth $2,000 stimulus check that people have been waiting for, still waiting to see if that's going to unfold. And we're hearing that right now, there's literally $500 billion of leftover stimulus package funds from previous packages still just sitting there, unused money that was meant to go out to help the American people. And we will see what happens with that money and what stimulus provisions are going to be provided. Now, I'll keep you up to date every step of the way, you guys, but here is an additional contributing factor. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest because not only is this possibly going to be contributing economically, but I want to make sure that you guys know about what we're hearing is going to be happening over the coming weeks and coming months with the pandemic, you guys. So let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on everything going on, don't forget, hit the like button. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Smash the subscribe button to stay up to date, totally free. Any specific questions, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Check out my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance, and also www.reliefroadmap.com to get access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation on every level for states, cities, counties that I've assembled. Spent me 3 months to assemble this, put it all into one place so that way you guys can access it and have everything in one location, you guys. But with that being said, let's take a look at these articles, get you caught up on the latest that's happening right now with the new wave we're hearing of the pandemic, which could be pushing us into more stimulus. All right, so first up, you guys, link in the description below to this article from The Hill that came out that says U.S. warned to get ready as Europe deals with new pandemic rise. And it says rising pandemic cases in Europe are setting off warnings that the U.S. could experience a new surge this winter. Previous jumps in the U.S. had followed a pattern in which cases first rise in Europe, making officials nervous that they could see a spike in U.S. cases as the weather turns. The most recent data from the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control shows that cases began going up around the beginning of September in Europe. The 7-day average is roughly 230,000 cases per day, reflecting rates that were seen in late July, when Europe was still dealing with the Omicron subvariant wave as well. Now, the World Health Organization Director General stated last week that a rise in cases in Europe was expected due to cooling temperatures, but stressed that hospitalizations and death did not have to rise as well due to the viral therapeutics that are now available. So they're saying we have the precautions, the medications set in place. Confirmed pandemic-related deaths across the European Union have remained low, with a 7-day average of 280 as of last week. Now, in the United States, cases and deaths have continued to trend downward, as we saw earlier, but dropping temperatures that push people indoors, dismal booster vaccination numbers, and an overall disregard for pandemic mitigation practices are setting the stage for a winter wave resembling the one across the Atlantic. The 7-day moving average for U.S. cases is around 38,000 per day, while the 7-day moving average for deaths is around 330. In the U.S., we have a higher infection rate than many European countries where more people have been infected here. So we have a little bit more immunity than they do, but still we have waning immunity, he said. Pandemic cases and deaths and hospitalizations in the United States will likely begin going up in 3 or 4 weeks, they said, though they won't reach the same levels seen during the Omicron wave last winter. So that was the biggest wave we had seen. They're saying expect in the coming 3 to 4 weeks. This is going to be hitting, but hopefully it won't be as bad as what we saw before. He emphasized that this projection is contingent on a situation in which the new pandemic variants that are better at escaping immunity don't rise in dominance. So they're saying that these ones potentially could be better at evading the vaccines. We will see, you guys. I will keep you up to date. Now, here are the ones that they're talking about. Dr. Fauci says that the fast-spreading pandemic variant BQ.1 and BQ.1.1 are pretty troublesome. Now, this one just came out yesterday, and it says the new pandemic variants, they are gaining traction in the United States as a troublesome rate, according to the White House top medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci. In the week ending October 15th, BQ.1 and its offspring, BQ.1.1, were closing in on the positions of the second wideliest circulating pandemic variants in the United States, according to projections from the CDC. Now, on Friday, Fauci sounded the alarm of the new variants, which accounted for an estimated 11.4% of new cases in the United States as of October 15th, double the proportion of infections that they caused a week earlier. Now, when you get variants like that, you look at what their rate of increase is as a relative proportion to the variant. And this has a pretty troublesome doubling time, Dr. Fauci said. Now, this is the same thing with the Omicron variant, was they said that it was extremely contagious. And because of that fact, everybody could get sick at the same time, and then it could overwhelm the hospitals. It could overwhelm everything that's going on. So even though it is not as deadly, they said it could be very severe and have negative impacts because, bam, everybody could start catching it at the same time, and it could spread at a rapid rate. That's the reason why people are concerned about BQ.1.1, for the double reason of its doubling time and the fact that it seems to elude important monoclonal antibodies, Fauci said. The BA.5 variant is currently still dominant in the United States, accounting for around 68% of cases, while the BA.4.6, which accounted for 12.2% of cases as of October 15th, is the second most common variant. However, BQ.1 and BQ.1.1 have rapidly become more widespread in the United States in the recent weeks, while BA.5 has been responsible for a smaller portion of cases. Now, despite the rise of the new variants, the latest data from the CDC paints a somewhat encouraging picture, with hospitalizations and new cases of the virus steadily declining over the past month. Some epidemiologists and public health experts have warned, however, that Americans, they should brace for a resurgence of pandemic infections in the coming fall and winter months, particularly with the Omicron variant continuing to evolve. Fauci backed those warnings during his interview with CBS, and he said, as much as you want to feel good about the fact that the cases are down, hospitalizations are down, we don't want to declare victory too prematurely, he said. Now, the bad news is that there's a new variant that's emerging, and that has qualities and characteristics that could evade some of the interventions that we have. But the somewhat encouraging news is that it's a BA.5 sublineage, so there is almost certainty going to be some cross protection that you can boost up. So they're saying, again, to rely on those vaccinations. So there you have it, you guys. That is the latest. Want to make sure that you know about what's going on with everything. The pandemic, they're saying in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we could be seeing a new wave ramping up, and there could be a new wave of infections coming. So just prepare yourselves, be ready. And also, we're hearing that this could put an additional strain on Congress for more stimulus checks, provisions, and I will keep you up to date here on the channel. But you guys, that is the latest. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, you haven't already, don't forget like button. Helps out with the algorithm. Subscribe to stay up to date. Instagram at SteveRam3. Check out my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, and also www.reliefroadmap.com to get access to the comprehensive list that I have assembled. You won't find anything like it anywhere else. Over 100 stimulus checks for states, cities, counties, all in one place. And I'm going to be adding more programs to that this week. New ones coming out. Going to be adding it to the list. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.